Hey, Brian, thank you so much for being here today. We're so grateful that we get to interview you. I would love if you could introduce yourself.
Yeah. So my name is Brian Johnson, and I'll be 46 next month. Kind of crazy. And I really started doing the health thing when I was 7. So this is pretty much what I have the majority of my experience of time, money, resources, energy, and just interest is in really helping people thrive. But I've also been 253 different times. I've been suicidal, almost killed myself 12 times, done crazy amounts of drugs, done 8 months in jail. Like I got all the hats. So all I really do is share what not to do, but also what you can do to really, really speed up someone's experience because not all information is created equal. And if you haven't been around someone doing it for 39 years, you might find some things a little different. So today we'll share some stuff and see where I can be of value and be of service. So, yeah.
Amazing. I would love if you could tell us what your book's about.
Yeah. So our book is called Think Great, Lose Weight. Kind of self explanatory, but here's some things that may not be. I think a lot of times when people are focused on getting in better shape or just improving the different areas of their life, a lot of times they're really doing a lot of ninja tricks, I call them, but not really mastering the basics. And unless you're mastering the basics, the ninja tricks are never going to work. And often when you're mastering the basics, you don't need the ninja tricks because it works. Okay. So some of the things we talk about in our book is called air, water, food, sleep, and consciousness. Now, in my opinion, those are the things that people need to focus on the most that are going to make the biggest impact the fastest because air is the first thing we're going to die without, right? Water, number two, food, number three. And you got our thoughts and we got sleep and our consciousness, which is our mindset, right? So that's why it's called Think Great, Lose Weight, because a lot of it starts with our thinking. And in my experience, really, when I turned 30, I realized that everything that I thought I knew just wasn't so. We'll just leave it at that. So I really just went on my own little journey of uncovering what was necessary to thrive. And that came in a very few fundamentally sound things: nutrition, emotional tools, body language, like being aware of itches and scratches and that kind of stuff, but really just self mastery tools. So, in my opinion, those are some of the things we'll discuss today, but just really my invitation is just keep it simple, right? Focus on mastering the basics. I'll share some tools with you today, and just know that when you really do that and you keep the simple mindset aspect to it, it's a lot easier to move forward consistently. And it's a lot easier to stay there because you're not doing a fad diet. You're just making basic adjustments that are their lifestyle, their lifetime tools. So the value of what I share with you, as long as we're here in a meat suit, eating food and talking and doing our thing, everything I share with you will be applicable until we have some other experience going on, right? So that's the value. It's not a fad. It's not going to be good on Saturday, and then next Sunday it's like, oh no, no, like this is what it is. There are laws in my opinion and experience.
Love that. What inspired you to write your book?
What a big pain in the hiney is where I was that that was. That was a good 5 years of just a lot of shenanigans and cutting stuff and done. But the reason why we did it is because just to do one, number one, number two, think it's information that people can use, and long when I'm gone, people can still use the information to resurrect their lives. And it's really a reference. It's a reference that you can use for life because it's one of those things you can go back to and revisit, go back to and visit because there's a lot of information on food, there's a lot of information on emotional tools. But we really created it to give someone some support and some guidance for fractions of what it cost us to learn it and to pay for all of it to get it right. So yeah.
Love it. When you were writing your book, who were you thinking of when it comes to who your book is for?
I mean, really, it's for the person committed to self mastery. So it doesn't matter what your flavor is. If you're committed to being the best version of yourself, then that's who we wrote it for. People who might just be kind of getting into the health field because, I mean, we weren't taught any of this stuff. So it's kind of, it's not like we just woke up one day, they have all these tools. If anything, you've had the direct opposite of what it takes to thrive. So
So,
treated it as a resource to really help people who are committed to jumping in the game have a way to be able to do so.
amazing. How long have you been writing and what made you really sit down and start?
I don't know if I will be writing again. I do a lot of videos. I may do another one. I'd have to be super inspired on it. It wouldn't be a 500-page book either. Um, really, I'm a content creator in general anyway, so I do videos and stuff all the time. So that's really my way of writing, if you will. I will always do those because that's just what I do, and that's just how people come across me is through videos and social media stuff online. So I'll always do that. If I do another book, I don't have one in mind yet, but who knows? Maybe somewhere down the line I will.
Love it. What was your schedule like when you were writing your book?
Really, I did my best to just put a little bit of time in each day. But I mean, if I'm being honest with you, there was maybe 6 months to a year where I didn't do anything on it. So there's ways to tackle it to make a better experience out of it, even if you're just writing a little bit each day. Nowadays, the technology and stuff that's out there is a lot of what I was doing was voice recording it and then go back and tweaking it, right? So there's a lot of ways where you can do something way more efficient nowadays. So really it's doing whatever works for you, but just being consistent with it. A lot of times that means like blocking out the time and saying, okay, well, this time here is exactly what time I'm doing my work, and then holding yourself accountable, which is another thing.
Amazing. What do you need in your writing space to help you stay focused?
Music and just my stuff. I wouldn't be at a coffee shop or something like that. I usually just be at my house listening to my own stuff. I'm really, for the most part, by myself a lot of times anyway. So it's kind of normal for me to be alone most of the time.
What is your favorite writing snack and drink?
I don't usually eat that much. If anything, I love my water machines. I have a Kangen water machine. It's a 9.5 pH. It's a restructuring machine, but it's a higher alkaline machine. But that's my second one. That's breakfast of champs right there. There's no other thing I know that's more effective than that stuff for hydration, for energy, for focus, for inflammation, detoxification, all that stuff. So that's really what I drink. And I've got some green stuff in my drink right now called liquid mint flavored chlorophyll. It's called chloroxygen, but it really is plant blood. So with plant blood, um, just like it sounds, but it basically helps with detoxification. It also helps with oxygenate our blood, which makes a big difference on oxygen, focusing, clarity, feeling good. All the things that someone would need to thrive. It doesn't matter whether you're writing or whatever, you're driving, being the best version of yourself. Those are all things that are necessary to do so.
Amazing. What type of books do you personally enjoy reading?
I've got a few right now. I've got The King, the Warrior, and the Magician and the Lover is one I'm reading now. Uh, my coach's book called The Logos of Now is also a really good one. I just ordered a couple new Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich. There's a couple other ones that weren't released. I got special access to them, so I just ordered those today. But I do read pretty much daily. I also love audiobooks because I'm dyslexic. So listening for me is sometimes faster and more effective because I can listen to a book on 1.5 or something like that and listen to it 2 or 3 times. Because generally, when I read something, I don't just blaze through it or speed read it where I don't remember any of it. I just read through it slow. I might read 1 or 2 pages for 2 or 3 weeks. Just depends on how I feel about it and what kind of information. Like if it's spiritual information, I will go very slow with it because I'd rather have the wisdom and the application versus like, oh, I remember that thing and then never use it again. So just depends.
Amazing. Are there any books or authors that inspired you to become a writer?
Mm, I think it's a combination of seeing my friends writing books and just having something out there. But here's the thing: I think a lot of times people like, if you get a number one bestseller, it's not going to change your life. A lot of times people, oh, I read a book, so you're a genius. Like, hey,
Yes.
it don't matter if you don't have a way to market it or have a community. Like it doesn't matter. Shit, it might take 30 or 40 years for your book to blast off. So nowadays, having the marketing channels to be able to do it is important. So writing a book, I mean, you're not doing it for the sales, at least in my experience. You're doing it because it's something you choose to leave a legacy and you have some wisdom to share. So that's why we decided to write one. I thought it would do a lot of things differently, but it really did not. So that's my experience.
Amazing. What books did you grow up reading? Did you have an all-time favorite?
Nope, I didn't because I was dyslexic. So I read one book in high school called The Shining. I didn't find I was dyslexic until I was 30, so that made a big difference. But really, at that point in time, I didn't read any books. little bit here and a little bit there, but it wasn't like I sat down to crack a book to enjoy it. I wasn't reading it for knowledge increase or wisdom or something like that. So The Shining, Stephen King. There you go.
Amazing. On the other side of that, now as an adult, what are your favorite series or authors that if they come out with something, you automatically grab it?
I don't know if I have any of those. It just depends on where I'm at, what's going on. If the book comes to me by a person that I like and that I trust, or if I hear someone say the book more than two times, then I'll get it because two times and more is a pattern for me. So although there's been sometimes someone will say something 10 times before I grab it. So there's just different examples of it. But if I hear it twice, I'll get it. But I don't have a person where like, oh, if they write a new book, I'm gonna jump out and get it. It's gotta really grab my attention or come from a trusted source. Because I have a lot of books and some of them I haven't even started to read. So I'm decent at reading most of them, but some of them haven't. So
Love it. What would you tell someone just starting out with reading again?
start with 2 pages, 3 pages a day, or 1 page a day. You know, that'll make a difference. Even if it's just 1 page a day, it's 1 page a day. Think about how many people don't read. Like, very interesting comment someone told me one time. It's like rich people have big libraries and poor people have big TVs. I'm like, interesting. Found that to be some truth in that too, which is kind of fascinating. So the idea of reading is they put wisdom in books because people ain't gonna read it. So if you'd like to find some truth, go find some really good books by some really good people. I find a lot of information back in the 20s and 30s was on point, more so than now. We've been dumbed down big time compared to where we used to be. So getting books in those time frames, and I'm not a fiction reader. I'm not ever going to read a Harry Potter. I've seen some of the movies and stuff, but I'm not going to sit there. It's not story time for me. I'm not a story time person. I like to have the facts and wisdom and stuff that I can use now and share with my students, my clients, and stuff like that too. So I'm very picky about stuff that I read and stuff that I won't read. I won't read science fiction. I might watch some of the movies here and there, but I'm definitely not a science fiction reader for sure.
Amazing. On the other side of that, what would you tell someone just starting to write their own book?
Better make sure you're passionate about it for sure, because it's kind of like people ask, well, Brian, what do you do for motivation? And I don't depend on it. I depend on habits because your motivation is not going to be there every day. So if you know that going into it, it will offer you a much smoother ride to be able to make the adjustments. So do a little bit daily, a paragraph a day. Start something. If it's a sentence, start on a sentence. You got to start somewhere. It's just getting yourself past that initial sticking point because once you get moving, it's easier. But Jenny, if you're going from not stopping to needing to do something, anytime I need to do something, I'm like, yeah. So then I say, all right, well, I get to, oh, in that case, it changes my whole state and my attitude about it,
Amazing. What's one thing that people are generally surprised to find out about you?
that I'm intelligent because usually I look like a meathead. So yeah, for sure. And surprise, well, I didn't know you knew all that. There you go.
Is there anything you would like to say or add?
Well, I believe that our health is our number one asset. So if you're not taking care of it, when's now a good time? Because everything in our world is designed to not make you thrive, period. Can't go to sleep without this stuff going on. So if you don't know that and you're actively choosing to move forward in your life, putting your health first is one of the most valuable assets for you to do. And not all information is created equal. So find the people that you can trust, find people that have proven results, find people who really resonate with who you be and use information. My favorite quote on our book, Think Great, Lose Weight, is if you don't make time for your wellness, you will make time for your illness. And that is a fact. So whenever you watch my videos online, that's the first thing you hear me say because that's my motto. And it's the truth, right? So focusing on your health is one of the best investments you can give yourself because it's something you can control. And it's something if you're not controlling, someone else is controlling for you. And you don't want that.
Love it. Where's the best place for readers to find your book? I know some readers love signed copies. Is that an option and the best place to connect with you?
If you want to buy it and send it to me, you can. then I can send it back to you. But if you use Amazon, Amazon's probably easiest. That would be the best. That way you don't have to go and find it. But it's just think great, lose weight. And when you get it, just message me online. And I have tons of communities and places for you to come hang out, and participate, and all those kinds of things. So message me when you get it, or if you got questions, message me those too.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here. We're so grateful we got to interview you. We'll be sure to drop those links in the show notes. And again, thank you so much.